This week in games, we give our predictions for the Game Awards. This is the Two Penny Gamescast. What's poppin', players? Welcome back to the Two Penny Gamescast, episode 176. It's a fun one, ladies and gentlemen. We are predicting the Game Awards. I am your host, Tavin Bothel, here with my good friend and co-host, say hello to the people, Connor Elliott.
Hello, I'm here to vote.
Yes.
For my in this game election.
Yeah, yes, sir, you are. And say hello to the people, friend of the show and frequenter of the Gamescast, host of the Two Penny Piggy Bank. Say hello to the people, Phil Shoemaker.
That's me. Hi,
That's
I'm
you.
Phil.
Hello. Ladies and gentlemen, we are predicting the Game Awards. We're very, very excited to be here and very, very excited to do this. If you've never seen a Two Penny Games Game Award prediction before, the way it works is we go through each and every category that we think we are up enough, we are intelligent enough to vote on and predict on. Speaking of which, we basically have dropped every esports category, and we went ahead and dropped the content creator of the year because me and Connor are old men who don't know anything about that, and none of those names mean anything to us. Phil, you do. I'm going to go ahead and give you your flowers here. You know a little something about the internet today. What are you thinking about the content creator of the year?
I think it's between Iron Mouse or Quackity. Shout out to you, Quackity. Great content. Really proud of the fact that you're breaking the boundaries of language and doing that. You did that awesome server, or possibly you're still doing it. I don't know if you're still doing it. I imagine it hasn't gone away, but that server where you have the different languages playing Minecraft together and live translation. I think it's just a really cool plugin that you did, a really cool mod that you added there. Very, very cool stuff.
Rock on. Ladies and gentlemen, so the way it works is we will start from most anticipated and go all the way up to Game of the Year. The way it works is we have a potential for each category to earn 2 points. We are going to have a point for what we voted for and what we expect to win. Those are 2 separate points each. So, for example, Game of the Year, if I vote for Resident Evil 4 and I expect Legend of Zelda Tears of the Kingdom, if Zelda wins, I get 1 point. Right there. But if I had expected Zelda for both and voted for Zelda, that is 2 points for me. Does that make sense for everybody the way I laid that out right there?
Yes, it did. Though there seems to be a problem with the camera.
Something's happening to Phil here. I'm going to keep talking and hope that he comes back to us.
Me?
Yeah, you think
your camera's all the way messed up right now.
Is it?
Oh
yeah, it's like gray and pixely.
It's all glitched out right now. Oh, there we go. We're back. There we go. And then at the end, ladies and gentlemen, this is a little different this year. We are predicting potential announcements like we usually do. The way we used to do it is we would have a prediction, and then depending on how accurate the prediction, we had the potential to get up to 3 points. We're kind of scrapping that this year. Or rather, we're altering it this year. We are going to have our baseline predictions. Each of those predictions are worth 3 points. And we're going to add a little bit of, we have the potential, we have the choice to add a little bit of spice to that prediction. So it's going to be a baseline prediction worth 3 points. And then you can add a little bit of spice. And if the spice turns out to be true, that spice is going to be worth an extra 2 points for a total of a potential 5 points per prediction. You do not have to add the spice if you don't have anything for the spice. But if you do, it's there. And if it happens, there you go. So you no longer are losing individual points. So it's not like I can throw out a prediction and I get 1 point. If I throw out a prediction and it happens, that's 3 points right there. There it is. Spice for the potential bonus points. This is just to kind of make that segment of the predictions matter a little bit more, have a little bit more weight to them, because in years past, we felt that it didn't really matter as much as the predicting of the nominees. And we wanted to kind of even that out a little bit. So that's what we are choosing to do this year. Let us know if you feel like that makes sense. And gentlemen, let's let's go ahead and get right into this, man. I'm very, very, very excited. Ladies and gentlemen, you can, if you are watching, of course, this is the Two Penny Gamescast. Every week, me and Connor usually come to you with the new news you need to know concerning the video game industry. We usually come to you with 2 topics, 2 pennies, if you will, and give you our 2 cents on them. Of course, that's not happening this week. We are just talking all the way about the Game Awards, even though there's quite a bit of news still happening this week. And you know, shout out to that, I guess. You can watch our Grand Theft Auto 6 trailer reaction live on the YouTube channel right now. YouTube.com/@2pennygames. Excuse me. I was at a beer dinner before this. I did not plan my night well.
Little burpee.
Little
tipsy.
Today. I got a little buzz going on right now. You know, we're having a little bit of fun today, and it's the Game Awards, so let's have a little bit of fun. Ladies and gentlemen, we are starting with most anticipated game. You are looking, if you look at on the YouTube version, you see the little 4th screen right there. This is my voting screen. I have not voted yet. I have not submitted my votes. I'm very excited to do so. Phil, you have submitted your votes. Connor, have you submitted your votes yet?
I'm doing them along here with you.
You're doing it along here with us. So here we go. We're going to get right ahead and get started here. Most anticipated game. We have Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, Hades 2, Like a Dragon Infinite Wealth, Star Wars Outlaws, and Tekken 8. This is, of course, recognizing an announced game that has demonstrably illustrated potential to push the gaming medium forward. Who wants to jump in first in the rotation here?
I'm gonna go ahead and jump in. I mean, of course, we all know Final Fantasy VII Rebirth will win this category. However, my vote was cast for Hades 2.
Yeah, that makes sense. Makes a ton of sense.
I agree. I'm very excited for both of those games. I am the most excited, however, for Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, and like Phil, I do expect it to win. So Final Fantasy VII has my full vote there.
So I obviously voted for Final Fantasy VII Rebirth. I was a big fan of Remake, and now I want to continue on the journey that they've set us on and see how it is, if it's good or bad. Let's go see. So
Connor, not only are you a big fan of Final Fantasy VII Remake, it is your favorite game of all time.
I switch back to that a lot. Yeah, those things are always fluid. Would I do it now? Very likely, but I would have to compare it again. I have to go into my mind and think. So, but either way, this new one was clearly, my most anticipated. But I think Hades 2 is going to win. I'm actually feel like I'm pretty confident in that because I'm really going off of like the only thing I feel like it gets talked about more by everyday gamers, and I've seen the YouTube count of the reveal trailers. Hades 2 has a couple more million, so it kind of makes me decide that that's going to be the one to take it.
It just feels so far away. Is the thing about it. Between the early release and the actual release, it just feels so far from now. Whereas 7 Rebirth is on the horizon. We have a date; it's coming very soon, and it's the most interesting, most exciting title of the bunch. I do want to give credit to Like a Dragon Infinite Wealth. I think that's going to be exciting. Yeah. Tekken 8 is going to be fun for Tekken fans. Star Wars Outlaws, I think, looks like a dud. It's just a dud waiting for me, like personally, but I could be wrong in that. People seem to disagree with me on that. I seem to be in the minority.
It's all because of the Star Wars games. Everyone always comes out and defends it. Star Wars games. Don't you hate Star Wars fans, Tavin?
I hate them. I legitimately hate them. Moving on. Best adaptation. Recognizing outstanding creative work that faithfully and authentically adapts a video game to another entertainment medium. We have Castlevania Nocturne, Gran Turismo, The Last of Us, Super Mario Brothers, the movie, and Twisted Metal. Phil, where are you at?
I mean, it's Last of Us with a bullet, right? Like there's no way it's not.
No, I'm right there with you. I'm voting for and expecting Last of Us. I do want to give a shout out to the Mario movie. The Mario movie was really good for what it could have. Like, it was a lot of fun. Was it the best movie of all time? Absolutely not. But was it a lot of fun and worth a ticket? Absolutely, I think so. But I think Last of Us just has it with a bullet. Connor?
Yeah, Last of Us. I definitely voted for that because it's the only one I've seen on this entire list.
You
So
suck.
really, ultimately, that's what I was going to do. But to be honest, at a glance, it probably was the most high quality in terms of what it was offering in the technical aspects of the show, in the acting and the performances and all that. Especially as an adaptation, it did a very good job. But I'm going to differ again and think the Super Mario Bros. Is going to win solely because of like Last of Us, it came, it had its fanfare. People were watching it. It got a lot of talk, but after it ended, its impact wasn't felt as much as it has been with Super Mario Bros. Which you still, of course, you see it in regards to memes and internet culture. But people also just talk about the fact that they have a Mario movie that, at the very least, looks good, and some people seem to enjoy. I mean, if you go to Rotten Tomatoes, the user score is very high. I think it might win Game of the Year, the best adaptation of the year, because it's the most notable out of all the ones on this list to me. So I think that'll win.
I mean, it's very possible. It was huge.
Yeah.
And Jack Black's Peaches was a movie.
Yes,
you know?
dude. Still in my head. Still
Yeah.
in my head.
Yeah. So,
I will say, just before we move on, Tavin, you said Connor sucks. You've only also seen Super Mario Brothers movie. You've not seen the other 3 things on this list.
here's the difference.
Get 'em.
I at least watched the trailers for all 3 of these things. Connor,
Hey,
did
no,
you
no,
watch
no,
the
no,
trailers
no,
for
no,
these
no.
things?
No, but I've watched. The only one I didn't was for Twisted Metal, which I've watched clips of, and it looks very fun. All the other ones, I saw all the trailers for them. Gran Turismo, I couldn't get away from in theaters. Every single time I saw that
Oh
damn
my
trailer.
god, they marketed
Every
the
damn
shit out of
I
that
would
movie to
put
make
him
me
in
hate
the
it.
I would dust him in a lap. The worst part about that line's not even in the movie.
Oh god, here we go.
Damn.
I will
was it
say
received?
also, Connor, you might be onto something with Mario, even though I still think it's Last of Us with a bullet, like I said.
Yeah.
The Super Mario Brothers movie did just recently get added to Netflix.
There you
Yes,
go.
people like to get their hands on that.
I mean, Connor, I don't think you're crazy with that prediction, but I do very much disagree. I think Last of Us did more in its time. Sure, did its impact last as long as Mario? Debatably, no. But people were more impressed with what Last of Us did as opposed to Mario. And like Last of Us, like in terms of quality, was just higher. Like Mario is not a great movie. Like it's good, it's fun, but it's not great. Last of Us is legitimately great. And it stands on its own even without the game. If I was not a fan of Mario, I would not have liked Mario as much as I did.
Fair.
Moving on. Best multiplayer. For outstanding online multiplayer gameplay and design, including co-op and massive multiplayer experiences, irrespective of game, genre, or platform. We have Baldur's Gate 3, Diablo 4, Party Animals, Street Fighter 6, and Super Mario Brothers Wonder. Phil.
Yeah, so Tavin, you and I together have played 3 of these games on this list.
Yes, sir. Together.
Together. Eventually, hopefully making that 4, because I'd like to play some Mario Wonder. You know, it'd be nice.
Yeah.
Maybe bring my Switch over on Thursday.
Sounds like a good time.
Be a good time.
Kill
Maybe
the
Connor
zombies
can
of Mario.
finally maybe Connor can finally join us.
Jump in with us.
Oh boy!
He can be Toad.
Anyway.
You know?
Woohoo!
My vote for this category is Street Fighter 6.
Hey, there we go.
However, no, I think Street Fighter 6 deserves the win. I think Street Fighter 6 will win.
Doubling down, huh?
Connor, where are you at?
Yeah, this one was kind of difficult for me since I'm not a big multiplayer guy, and I hate Diablo 4, so I won't respect it. So I'm not going to choose that one. Ultimately, though, I ended up on voting for. I voted for it here. Baldur's Gate 3. I feel like the multiplayer in that game is more unique than any other type of multiplayer that's on this list. You know, that I like the uniqueness of it, and I like the content of the game that allows you to play it with friends. Because usually those kinds of games don't have multiplayer, and it's nice to see one that does have it. Are some of these arguably better multiplayer and more multiplayer focused? Yes, which is why I think the multiplayer focused Street Fighter 6 is going to win, due to the fact that I've just, in my corner of the world, I see Street Fighter 6 in terms of online gameplay more than any of these other ones. Party Animals possibly, I think the other most likely winner here, but Street Fighter 6 is my prediction for what I think is going to win.
Yeah, this one's hard for me. I think all of these except for Mario have a chance. of course, there's tiers to all of this. I mean, Diablo 4 did such great stuff with drop in, drop out co-op. It was really just a seamless experience for that. However, it came out so long ago, did not have the impact as some of these other games on the list. And of course, marred with controversy, a lot of Activision Blizzard problems on top of the fact that people weren't happy with some of the seasons that came out immediately after Diablo 4. So I just don't see Diablo 4 really cutting it. Party Animals is a chance, but I don't know if it had the impact as a Street Fighter 6 and a Baldur's Gate 3. And then now we come down to those two. For me, personally, I'm really enjoying the multiplayer Baldur's Gate 3 with Phil right now. We're working a co-op campaign as our experience with the game, and we're really having a lot of fun with it. But I think for a multiplayer experience, I think Street Fighter 6 offers the best thing. So I'm going to actually align with Phil here, and I'm going to think Street Fighter 6 just takes it in its entirety. I could see a potential Baldur's Gate 3 running with this one. And, there's a chance Baldur's Gate just kind of takes every category it's nominated for. But it just kind of makes sense for Street Fighter 6 to take it here. Of these 5, Street Fighter 6 makes the most sense to me, and I think the jury will probably agree with that. We'll see though.
Big agree.
It does.
Moving on, best sports and racing. We have EA Sports FC 24. Connor, if you don't know, that's just FIFA 24. F1 23, Forza Motorsport, Hot Wheels Unleashed 2 Turbocharge, and the Crew Motor Fest. Phil, where are you at here?
Kicking off once again. I haven't played any of these games. However, Phil Tendo, the lovely game studio on our Two Penny Games Fantasy Critic League, has Forza Motorsport on its team. So my vote is for Forza Motorsport. And I believe it'll win.
Yeah, I'm right there with you. I mean, I think Xbox had a good year this year. Was it a great year? No, was not a great year, but it was a good year. They had some solid entries, and we're gonna get to some of those solid entries. But I think Forza Motorsport is their best example of what Xbox can do. I mean, Forza has been a franchise that has been popping for quite a while and has always put out great games. Forza Horizon, of course, being the more casual type of game, but people are kind of sick of what FIFA's doing. F1 didn't really make any splashes. I heard Hot Wheels Unleashed 2 was solid, but I mean, I only heard good things about Forza Motorsport, so I'm going to double down and say Forza as well. Connor, where are you at?
Yeah, I mean, it's more for the vote than anything else because I don't play any of these titles. Forza Motorsports is just a safe bet in both these things.
There we go.
And I like it to win because I'll be like, yeah, sure, toss it in the coin in the well every single year. Just go with that.
Bouncing into our next category here, best sim/strategy, best game focused on real-time or turn-based simulation or strategy gameplay, irrespective of platform. We have Advance Wars 1+2 Reboot Camp, City Skylines 2, Company of Heroes 3, Fire Emblem Engage, and Pikmin 4. Phil is the only one who has played the most of these games. Where are you at?
I actually played. I think this year is kind of where I played the most big titles, because 3 out of the 5 of these games, being Advance Wars, Fire Emblem, and Pikmin, I have played this year. Definitely more so Fire Emblem and Pikmin, but I dipped my toe into some Advance Wars. I put maybe 4 hours into it. However, my vote goes to Pikmin 4 here, and I believe it'll win. And my vote is for Pikmin 4 just because it's also in the best family category. However, I believe there's a different game that'll win that category. So I want Pikmin 4 to walk away with at least 1 win. So best sim strategy, Pikmin 4.
I mean, I'm following that logic. I'm going to vote for and expect Pikmin 4 to win here. It's just the only one that made any kind of splash here. It seems like City Skylines 2 was just more City Skylines. I didn't hear anything about Company of Heroes 3. Advance Wars 1+2 just didn't have a shot in this year. 2023 was a great year for game releases, and Advance Wars just didn't. I don't think Advance Wars made the splash to be able to take it this year. And I think Fire Emblem Engage was disappointing. So I'm gonna just have to go for Pikmin 4 all the way. Connor, where are you at with this here?
You're absolutely right, Tavin. Overall, with what we got in past years, Fire Emblem Engage was disappointing, and I'm going to vote for it to win because it's the game that I played, and I had fun with it, so I have no shame in it. It was fun as like a fun strategy game.
You
So
son of a
you know,
bitch, you
whatever.
fucked up my fucking note taking.
Loser. I'm going to vote
I
for
will
Pikmin
say-
4. I'm going to say Pikmin 4 is going to win though.
I will say I have been thinking about Fire Emblem Engage and hopping back into some of it, just to kind of I never finished all the DLC to get all like the characters and everything, so I've thought about going back in and dipping my toe back into that.
Fuck
just
that.
because there's I can't remember what it was that I was watching. There's like, oh man, this seems like it'd be fun to hop back into Fire Emblem.
Connor, I want to make sure I have this right for you. You're voting for Fire Emblem, expecting Pikmin.
Yes.
Perfect. Here we go. Moving on to our next category, gentlemen. Best family game. Phil, you were just talking about it. We have
Indeed.
Disney Illusion Island, Party Animals, Pikmin 4, Sonic Superstars, Super Mario Brothers Wonder. Phil, where are you at?
I mean, like I said, Pikmin 4 is in this category. However, my vote in this category is Super Mario Brothers Wonder, and I do believe it will take home the Game Award for Best Family Game. Shout out to Sonic Superstars. Do plan on hopping into that game eventually, possibly next year. But yeah, I love Sonic. Sonic fan. I think it's great. Just has no chance of beating out Pikmin 4 or Super Mario Brothers in that aspect. So it's got to be Super Mario.
Connor.
I'm going with the points on this one, and in agreement with Phil, with just Mario down the board. You know, I mean, it's Mario. It's a household name. I think I was wrong about a Mario game in the past, but I think it was the only one that didn't win that had come out. I might be mistaken about that, but Mario just has gotten the most conversation as well. It's Mario. You know, I'll go with that.
I expect Super Mario Brothers Wonder to win. Like, I think it's first of all, it's an amazing game. It's fantastic. And on top of that, it's got some really great family-friendly mechanics baked into it that I think are really, really cool. But I am going to vote for Disney Illusion Island here.
Yeah.
I put a good amount of hours into Disney Illusion Island this year. I think it's a really fun game. I think it's really, really charming. And it's a great baby's first Metroidvania. And I think it's the most accessible Metroidvania that I've ever personally played. And it's one of those games that, like, I started, didn't finish, but really wish I had the opportunity to, but I had to move on to the next thing. Disney Illusion Island is absolutely worth everybody's time, especially if you have kids. That game is a blast. It's cooperative. You're working together in some really fantastic ways. It's super accessible, and it's charming and funny and fairly well written. And if it was ever going to get some light, this is the category for it to get that light. I just hope it got enough light for it to get out from under the shadow of Mario. And if I'm just being honest with myself, I don't think it did. But I really hope it did. So I'm gonna vote for Disney Illusion Island, but I expect Super Mario Brothers Wonder to take.
Tavin, do you expect that character Michael Mouse to become something big? You think something big will come from that?
I think they got something here, man. That design, maybe they need to tweak it a little bit. I don't know, who really vibes with a mouse, but I think that Mickey character, he may turn into something here.
For a second, I thought you were talking about a different character. I was like, who are they talking about? Who was in this game? Is this a joke?
I did call him Michael Mouse. So
Yeah.
It's like, is that
Connor,
another one?
Ladies and gentlemen, Connor did not have 6-7 beers tonight, but he might be just as inebriated as me, if not more so. We'll let you figure out how.
That's just his natural state.
It's his natural state. Moving on, best fighting game. For the best game designed primarily around head-to-head combat, we have God of Rock, Mortal Kombat 1, Nickelodeon All-Star Brawl 2, Pocket Bravery, and Street Fighter 6. Let's go ahead and save ourselves some time here, gentlemen. Is anybody not expecting Street Fighter 6 to take this one?
Mortal Kombat has a chance. Is it going to? No. But has a chance. I could be wrong.
Yeah, I'm in total agreement with Connor. I think if any of these games has a chance, it's going to be Mortal Kombat, but I do believe Street Fighter takes it home.
Yeah.
So I will say that, sure, it's the Street Fighter, so it's going to get the most name recognition. that on that alone. But it is also just the best. And that's the thing. It's also just the best fighting game here on this list. So that's something like
That
some people might. Yeah. Some people might sometimes say, okay, it's Street Fighter, so of course it's going to win because of that name. Sometimes people say the same thing about Mario. That's being me, but in this case, it's deserving of every praise that it's gotten. It's the best fighting game.
I think the thing is what's funny is that I think Mortal Kombat 1 is a very quality fighting game. It seems like the fan base was very satiated with it. But the thing is that they were just satiated with it. They weren't impressed with it. And I think that's because Mortal Kombat has been on a win streak lately. They've been winning since Mortal Kombat 9. And this one just kind of feels like, yeah, it's another great Mortal Kombat game. Where Street Fighter 6 had to make up for what Street Fighter 5 did. And even though Street Fighter 5 eventually got to a good place, 6 had to prove itself. And I think it did more than just prove itself. It showed itself to be a phenomenal game. And it's still in people's conversations of one of the best games of the year. And I think it's just the most impressive fighting game in this list right now. So yeah, I think across the board, everybody here is voting for and expecting Street Fighter 6 to take this one.
But Mortal Kombat has Omni-Man.
Cool.
And Peacemaker.
Best RPG for the best game designed with rich player character customization and progression, including massively multiplayer experiences. We have Baldur's Gate 3, Final Fantasy 16, Lies of P, Sea of Stars, and Starfield. Phil, where you at?
Yeah. See, this is a hard category for me, especially. Like, 3 of these games I'm enjoying a hell of a lot. And I have enjoyed a hell of a lot. Those games being Baldur's Gate 3, Final Fantasy 16, and Sea of Stars. However, Sea of Stars has my vote for this category.
Nice.
Without a doubt. But I think we all know Baldur's Gate 3 is going to win.
Very good picks, Phil. Very good pick. Someone deserved to represent Sea of Stars because Tavin's not going to do it. He softened on the game. Meanwhile, your high lasted continuously. That's not a problem, Tavin. But for you obviously loved it as much. Like it was always in your brain.
Connor, the problem is Tavin doesn't have the platinum for Sea of Stars.
That is the problem. And gentlemen, unbeknownst to you, I have attained the platinum for Baldur's Gate 3 as of 7:00 this evening.
No, that's not true.
I didn't go away and drink beers with my girlfriend. I played Baldur's Gate 3 for 57 hours and got that platinum trophy.
Wait, you're telling me you got the Baldur's Gate 3 platinum in less than 5 hours?
You were correct, sir.
Impressive.
You're correct.
Dude, that's so impressive.
I'm playing around. Listen, this is for me between Sea of Stars and Baldur's Gate 3. I don't think Sea of Stars made the noise that Baldur's Gate 3 made. Obviously, I think Baldur's Gate 3 is easily going to take it. And I'll be honest, I'm having such a good time with my playthrough of Baldur's Gate 3 right now with Phil that I'm going to go ahead and vote for it as well. Is it going to land higher in my Game of the Year overall list? I don't know. But in terms of what should win Best RPG, I think Baldur's Gate 3 does everything I personally want from an RPG and more. And yeah, I'm going to vote for and expect BG3 to take it. Connor?
Yeah, Baldur's Gate 3. I'm going to be repping this. And it is genuinely one of the greatest RPGs ever made. I think it's very easy to say that at this point in time. Sad because a lot of these other games are, great RPGs. Tavin, I'm actually more in line with you that Final Fantasy 16 isn't really an RPG in the way we recognize RPGs, so I don't think it really had the best chance here. But Lies of P and Sea of Stars were... Sea of Stars is very good. Lies of P, I really, really want to get back to. And it was ultimately a debate between that and Baldur's Gate, but Baldur's Gate has just been, it's gotten the attention it has for a reason. Anybody that's been able to play the stories that are woven in that game and the fun combat, the fun characters. The only one that I don't think deserves to be on this list, and I've been vocal about it, is Starfield. I get popularity, but quality, I just don't think it deserves to be up here over something like a Star Ocean Second Story plus R. But
But nobody fucking played that game.
Connor. I don't give a shit. I don't care if
Connor,
nobody
do me a favor, move over to the left just a little bit. Just center yourself right there. Yeah, perfect.
Connor, before you said that, I was just about to say, I totally agree with you that this category is full of great games and Starfield. Yeah. Just to kind of rile up the audience there.
I mean, I'll be 100% honest. I have not played Starfield, but I 100% believe Starfield's a better game than Final Fantasy 16, and I believe it deserves to be in this list. Final Fantasy 16 is not an RPG, and it's not a good game.
Go fuck yourself.
Better game.
Moving on. Best Action Adventure, we have Alan Wake 2, Marvel's Spider-Man 2, Resident Evil 4, Star Wars Jedi Survivor, and The Legend of Zelda Tears of the Kingdom. Fuck, this one's tough. Phil, what were your thoughts on this one while I fucking think about it?
So here's the thing. As much as I love Legend of Zelda Tears of the Kingdom, I'm picking Marvel Spider-Man 2. That was my vote, and that is what I think will win.
I mean, fuck, it's really fucking hard. Best Action Adventure, Legend of Zelda Tears of the Kingdom just doesn't come to mind when I think of Best Action Adventure.
It's kind of where I'm at.
To me, this is a race between, I think Jedi Survivor came out too long ago and it was too buggy at launch. It was a half-baked game. I think it disqualifies itself for that reason, even though it's one of my favorite games of the year. Alan Wake 2, great narrative, really cool game. Really enjoyed my time with it, but I don't think it lives up to the quality that is Marvel Spider-Man 2 and Resident Evil 4, man. Those two games were high quality. They gave me exactly what I wanted from both of those experiences. So I think it's a race between those two. And from there, it's so fucking hard to pick. I'm gonna guess. Fuck, this is hard.
Mm-hmm.
Because the thing is, Spider-Man 2 is so much more popular than Resident Evil. That's the thing. That's the thing that's getting me stuck here. Everybody played Spider-Man 2. Not everybody played Resident Evil 4. A lot of people played Resident Evil 4, but not as many as people who played Spider-Man 2. I can't do it, man. I'm gonna vote for Spider-Man 2, but I'm gonna expect Resident Evil 4.
Wow.
Yeah.
If anything, I feel like you should flip that.
No, I can't flip it. I understand every perspective. Every perspective when it comes down to those two games, I understand. But I'm gonna go for this one. This is the one that I'm gonna plant my flag next to. Hey, man, if I get 1 point, I get 1 point. That's what it is. Mm-hmm. Connor, where are you at?
Yeah. So I think Spider-Man 2 popularity, it's gonna win. I think that's basically a shoo-in, but I cannot vote for it. I played Spider-Man 2 for the past 2 days. I got to a part of the story where the narrative's starting to get interesting, but I've done a lot of combat, done a lot of side content that Spider-Man games tend to give you, particularly intervening in crimes. And it's been fun, but it's just not there for what I would vote for. And that leaves me with one of the hardest decisions, which is surprisingly between Resident Evil 4 and what I kind of want to rep, because it's not going to get attention elsewhere, Star Wars Jedi Survivor. Because I really... Yeah, that was just fun combat, particularly. I think,
dude, Jedi Survivor was fucking fire, man.
It was very fun.
It was great.
Fun. But so was Resident Evil 4. Resident Evil 4 was able to just offer us an experience that stuck in my mind because, as you said before, Tavin, Star Wars Jedi Survivor came out a while ago. I don't really think about it that much unless I have moments like this where it's put in my face and I'm remembering how good it is. Resident Evil 4 I have yet to be forced to conjure up those memories of what that game was like. So I think I'm going to go with Resident Evil 4. But it's a very close. Like I had originally a Star Wars, but Resident Evil 4 I remember just so much fun to be had in that game, and also even better puzzles than what the past Resident Evil game gave us.
Yeah, man, there's great puzzles in that game.
Yeah, there you go. You guys are flipped. You guys are crisscrossed.
I mean, the thing about it is that Spider-Man 2 is undeniably just more Spider-Man. And it's a great game, and I love that game. I gave it a masterpiece rating, and I didn't give Resident Evil 4 a masterpiece rating. I don't think we had the ratings out by that point, but I would have given it a great game. Resident Evil 4 is a great game, personally. But I just think Resident Evil 4 impressed more people than Spider-Man 2. Spider-Man 2 came out, and people loved it, but it was undeniably more Spider-Man 2, and it got criticized heavily for just being more Spider-Man 2. Whereas Resident Evil 4 was like, whoa, this game surpasses even what the original did, was happening in some conversations, or was right there even keel with what the original did. And I think that's gonna reach more people with that. God damn, do I wish Survivor just had 6 more months in the oven, man. God, I wish it did, and I could put it higher, man. I really, really loved Survivor, looking past all the technical difficulties, but man, it's just too much. I just know that it's just not worth putting my eggs in that basket.
Tavin, I need you to open your time portal to your past self and how you're pissed off about all the times it got delayed.
Was I did it get? It did get delayed a few times. Was I pissed off about it though?
You were very like anxious all the time. You posted. You kept on.
I was anxious for it. I wanted Jedi Survivor, but I
You
also
kept on
remembered how
posting that
buggy.
meme.
I remember how buggy Fallen Order was, and I was like, "Fine, take all the fucking time you need."
You kept on posting that Tobey Maguire meme where he's like, "That's today." They stole it from me.
Moving on, best action game. For the best game in the action genre, focused primarily on combat, we have Armored Core 6, Fires of Rubicon, Dead Island 2. I can't say
One of these things is not like the
other.
others.
Ghost Runner 2, Hi-Fi Rush, and Remnant 2. Phil, go ahead, take it away here, buddy.
Oh, it's Armored Core 6, Fires of Rubicon.
I'm right there with you, man. AC6 is polished. It's wonderful. It's fantastic, and I mean, man, From Software, man, they just know how to make a good game, man. They just know how to make a good game.
Fun
Connor?
fact: my little brother has the platinum in that game.
Oh wow,
Dang.
very impressive.
Damn.
That takes some work. Connor, where you at?
I am the From Software shill, and I say Armored Core 6 Fires of Rubicon is my vote for that. It's very easy, but I don't think it's going to win. I know that's a very this is hopeful. I'm reaching into hope because it's a game that deserves recognition for its action, which is Hi-Fi Rush. The rhythmic gameplay that game is able to set up is just so it just flows so extremely well. You're able to do combos like you would kind of do in Devil May Cry. Inputs a bit differently, but it really shook up gameplay, and also had a lot of kind of like in-game button press moments that led to some pretty cool things and funny things as well. I think it was just a great action game, and I think it's going to win. Hopefully.
Yeah, Phil said it while you were talking, and I'm right there with you. I'm not mad at it.
Mm-hmm.
It's just that it was so long ago, and did it make the same splash
January.
Armored Core 6 made? I don't know if
No,
it did. Hi-Fi Rush, I think, is Xbox's best game that they put out this year, and it should be commended in that way. And it's quite impressive what that game was able to do and how it did it. But yeah, it's just so hard to beat From Software, man. They won Game of the Year the last 2 times that they were up for it. They back-to-backed it with their last 2 releases, and Armored Core 6 is, debatably not as good as their last 2 titles, but I don't think it's even trying to be as good as its last 2 titles. I think they're trying to put out a really fun mech action game, and they did that, man, and they knocked it out of the park. Armored Core 6 is one of the most fun games that I've played this year, and I think From Software just has a better design ethos than what Tango Gameworks did with Hi-Fi Rush. Not to take away from what Hi-Fi Rush did, but I mean, it's just hard to beat that FromSoft, man.
For sure.
It was for the fans. Fans of the Armored Core series like that game as well, which always good to have your base satisfied.
Yeah.
Another alumni
Just
of
bring
the
people in.
Philtendo list.
Moving on, the one that we probably have the least amount of experience in and can talk the least amount about of the ones we're talking about today. Best VR/AR for the best game experience playable in virtual or augmented reality, irrespective of platform. We have Gran Turismo 7, Horizon, Call of the Mountain, Humanity, Resident Evil Village VR mode, and Synapse. Shout out to Humanity for being able to get themselves a nominee in this category. I heard great things about it, but we will see. Phil, where are you at with this one, man?
For this category, I am doubling down on Gran Turismo 7. Purely because I've heard nothing but great things about the VR function. I've heard it is the best VR experience out there, and probably the best way to play a racing game. Yeah,
man, I'm right there alongside you. Gran Turismo 7 all the way for me. Voting for and expecting it to win. The only one that I think has any potential of taking it here is Resident Evil Village VR mode. Possibly could take it, but I just didn't hear anybody fucking talk about it. Like, it just kind of happened, man. Horizon Call of the Mountain, I don't think did what it needed to do in order to impress in this category. I think, debatably, from what I heard people talk about, it sounds like Humanity is the best of this list, but it didn't make the splash that it needed, whereas GT7 did. Connor.
In Resident Evil Village VR mode, you get to stand in an exact height difference to Lady Dimitrescu, so it's going to get my vote. Also, just being a Resident Evil VR game, always are fun. I really want to play them, but ultimately, I'm going to give in to my consumer brain, the very pathetic part of my brain, and say that what's going to win is the one that I saw easily the most ads for, which is Horizon Call of the Mountain. I'm gonna give it. I'm gonna give it a chance. It fails all the time because it's overshadowed, regardless if it's in VR form or if it's in main game form. Let's give him the bone. Let's give him a round of applause and let's give him the bone, huh? Right? You agree?
We'll see, man. All right, Connor voting for RE8 and expecting Horizon Call of the Mountain.
Dude,
we'll see.
Just watch. We're gonna see Horizon 3 come out in 2025, right before GTA 6.
Oh, Jesus Christ, man! Don't do it.
Give her 26.
Moving on to best mobile game, we have Final Fantasy VII Ever Crisis, Hello Kitty Island Adventure, Honkai Star Rail, Monster Hunter Now, and Terra Nil. Phil, where are you at here, buddy?
Hey, shout out to my man Butterscotch from South Park for Hello Kitty Island Adventure. I'm gonna go Honkai Star Rail all the way here.
I'm right there with you. I learned very early on when it comes to this type of space, whether it's like free to play or ongoing or anything, don't doubt the anime game, man. Don't doubt it. And
It's true.
And I touched Final Fantasy VII Ever Crisis. It was okay. It was all right. Connor, where are you at, buddy?
I so want to give it to Final Fantasy Ever Crisis, but Honkai Star Rail was like pervaded my mindset. I was like seeing like tiny bits of images from those ads and being like, oh, that's Honkai Star Rail. It was just infecting my mind and the internet's mind everywhere I looked. So Honkai Star Rail.
Best debut indie. We have Cocoon, Dredge, Pizza Tower, Venba, and Viewfinder. Phil?
It's got to be Pizza Tower for me, Tavin. Let's go, Pizza Tower.
Shit, I fucked up. I'm fucked up.
Oh my god, dude, that game's so good. Like, it's unironically amazing.
Oh, you played it?
Yes.
Oh, I didn't know you played it.
Yeah, dude. I was talking about it whenever we dipped back into Halo Infinite.
You sung its praises
way back earlier in this year. But yeah, that game is phenomenal. It's basically it's very inspired by Wario Land, but I think it extends beyond the what's the word I'm looking for? The influence of Wario Land. Extremely satisfying platforming, just zooming through these levels, amazing art and music. Very, very fun.
There we go. Putting Pizza Tower down for Phil all the way. I'm feeling completely differently. I think Cocoon's taking it all the way. Cocoon is recent enough. It shook up the space enough. And it's quality enough. Like, I've played, I don't know, 45 minutes of Cocoon. I want to play more. And it's beautiful. And I can go ahead and say that I like the game. And I think it's gonna do something here. Connor, where are you at here, buddy?
Well, not only did I end up playing any of these games, I only know of 2 of them. These other ones are made new to me, and so I'm going to split my vote to try and get points, but also for something from the heart, which is that I voted for Pizza Tower. That image of that guy, he look at him. Look at him. How can you not like that? That's pretty nice, isn't it?
Connor, his name is Peppino.
Peppino. See, every single time I learn something about him, I like the guy more. Like, there, right? His image. So I say that, but Tavin, you're the only reason I know of Cocoon is because you mentioned about how it was apparently good and people really liked it and it's one of the best ones. So I'm going to say that's going to win. I'm going to make my prediction there for good old Cocoon. So Tavin, you better be right.
We're going to find out, aren't we?
Mm-hmm. Right?
Connor's hedging his bets.
I am.
Best independent game. This one created itself a little bit of controversy for outstanding creative and technical achievement in a game made outside the traditional publisher system. We have Cocoon, Dave the Diver, Dredge, Sea of Stars, Viewfinder. The controversy, of course, being Dave the Diver being owned by a multi-billion-dollar company, which is very, very strange. Phil, where are you at?
You don't even need to ask me, Tavin. It's got to be Sea of Stars all the way. Let's go Sabotage.
I'm with you. I'm curious if Sea of Stars made a big enough splash to go all the way. I'm going to vote for it alongside you. But I got to think about what I expect to win. And I'm going to bounce it over to Connor before I lock it in what I expect.
Yeah, well, I don't have to think like Tavin does. I'm not a little wishy-washy kind of guy who just sits there and doesn't know what he's doing. Sea of Stars is all the way down the middle because that's the only game that I played. And even if I had played these other games, at the end of the day, that is an RPG styled after a JRPG. So it wins. For that alone, all the way down. Deserves it too.
I mean, like I've played both Sea of Stars and Cocoon, and that's what I'm bouncing here between. And I genuinely think, at least so far, Sea of Stars is a better game. Yeah,
you really had.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with y'all. We're all in. Nobody's losing or winning any points in this category. Sea of Stars all the way for this one. But shout out to Cocoon. Here we go. Best community support. Recognizing a game for outstanding community support, transparency, and responsiveness, inclusive of social media activity and game updates / patches. We have Baldur's Gate 3, Cyberpunk 2077, Destiny 2, Final Fantasy 14, and No Man's Sky. Phil.
Guys, shout out to Bungie, am I right?
Oh, man. They are a company that has been nominated here.
I mean, it's got to be Baldur's Gate, right? Baldur's Gate is in the category. It's going to win.
Does it?
May not be so sure.
The only other thing that I could think is the game that always wins these categories, and that's Final Fantasy. But I think it's time to dethrone it. Let's go Baldur's Gate 3.
I mean, I just think what Cyberpunk did this year is way more impressive, man. That's an underdog story. That's a comeback story.
That's why I'm voting for it for another category.
And the thing is like, here, I'm gonna vote for 2077. I'm gonna vote for Cyberpunk here. And now it's the conversation of, do I think Final Fantasy 14 and or No Man's Sky is going to take it? Of those two, I think it's probably Final Fantasy 14. Now, do I think that's going to take it over Cyberpunk? Man, I don't know. Cyberpunk made a splash this year. I didn't hear anything about Final Fantasy 14 this year. I don't even understand how Destiny 2 made it. Nobody liked the last expansion that they put out. Nobody liked it. So how is it here? Why is it here? I don't understand. Fuck it, man. Community. I'm doubling down. Cyberpunk 2077.
Respectable. Very respectable.
Connor, where are you?
You see, I'm actually there's kind of a confliction here. I ended up kind of solidly choosing one over the other, which is what I personally want to vote for, but what I think deserves to win. What I think deserves to win is Cyberpunk 2077 for those reasons you said. They turned it around completely. I actually kind of want to jump into the game now. Maybe I will here in the near future. It's because the concept of Cyberpunk's great already. It was just the game itself was rough, and now it's refined, and it's interesting to see where they're going to go from there on out. But ultimately, I'm going to have to place it with Baldur's Gate 3 due to the fact that particularly inclusive of social media activity and game updates / patches. I saw the most of their stuff on social media over any of these other games, even Final Fantasy 14 for once, though neck and neck those two. We'll get to that in a second. But also game updates and patches. Baldur's Gate 3 constantly added things over and over and over again this past year, including extra features, changing how certain conversations go, fixing glitches, of course, and listening to player feedback to get those fixes out and eliminate the problems that people were facing. So I think it gets my vote personally for that one. But ultimately, I'm going to side on the era of this. I'm going to err on the side of tradition and go with what I think is going to win is Final Fantasy 14, because it is Final Fantasy 14. And despite me seeing a lot of Baldur's Gate 3 on my timelines and whatnot, Final Fantasy 14 was just as much there throughout the entire year, rather than just halfway into it. So it has the high chance to win, I think.
My only thing about it is that Baldur's Gate 3 officially came out this year. It hit the public radar this year. I think that's going to, in some ways, hold it back because they're not expecting an ongoing sort of system from Baldur's Gate 3. Whereas, Cyberpunk had this major comeback story, and Cyberpunk 2.0 really, that was a marketing beat. And I just think that will make, ultimately, the difference between those. If anything, I would see it going to 14 before I see it going to Baldur's Gate.
You see, the thing with Baldur's Gate, though, is that I lose my track of what I'm going to say sometimes.
And we're moving on. Wait a minute. What the fuck did we? Oh, that was best
community support.
Community support.
Oh, now we got the best ongoing. Here
Having
we
your
go.
dumb.
Awarded to a game. I'm standing by what I said. Awarded to a game for outstanding development of ongoing content that evolves the player experience over time. We have Apex Legends, Cyberpunk 2077, Final Fantasy 14, Fortnite, Genshin Impact. Phil, where are you at?
It's Cyberpunk 2077, Tavin. As I said, remember when I alluded to another category I was going to go vote for Cyberpunk? It's this one. It's this category. And I think this is the category you thought we were just voting for because you're dumb and
it
drunk.
absolutely is. It absolutely is what I just thought we were just voting for. But there's a change up here that changes my thinking here because there's recent events that happened in the last while that I think will make the difference here. And so I'm going to vote for Cyberpunk 2077 again because I think that's the most impressive thing on this list. And it's the most it actually is not the most likely game that I'm going to jump into because I'm expecting Fortnite to take best ongoing here because I think, their what do they call it? The OG Fortnite campaign. You couldn't get away from it, man. It was everywhere, and it was huge. And then now they just had their big bang event with Eminem and all that. Fortnite firing on all cylinders right now. After a couple of years where debatably it wasn't knocking it out of the park like it has this year.
Oh, have you not heard?
and of course, Peter Griffin.
Oh, Bard.
Connor, where you at?
Well, for this one, I'm going to place my vote for Cyberpunk Edgerunners because out of all of the ones that did ongoing content,
not Edgerunners.
What Edgerunners? Oh, 2077 Phantom Liberty. Ultimately, it was able to come back from the brink. Which, as far as ongoing games go, all the other ones, as good as they are, haven't been able to do something like that. They just continue on with their, pre-established kind of gameplay. And that's not a bad thing at all. Fortnite doing the most to change that up, like you said, with going back to Fortnite Classic. But ultimately, I'm just going to err on the side of being, I guess, a shill, though I'm kind of more just conflicted than anything else. But I'm going to go with Final Fantasy 14, seeing as how that's a game that has won in the past, though this is the stiffest competition it's had yet. So it makes me kind of shaky and want to go say that it's going to be Fortnite, but ultimately I'm just going to stand by 14 for now.
So you're voting for Cyberpunk, expecting 14.
Yes.
There we go. Games for Impact. For a thought-provoking game with a pro-social meaning or message, we have A Space for the Unbound, Chance of Sinar, Goodbye Volcano High, and Chia. Man, this one's tricky. Phil, where did you land here?
Didn't this have another game in it before?
Oh, there's two more.
Yeah.
Terra Nil and Vinba.
Thank you.
Oh,
okay. Yeah, I mean, because I definitely voted for Venba, and I believe it'll win. From everything I've heard about how, it goes in talking about the life of a second generation immigrant child.
Yeah, I didn't play for any of these games. I didn't play any of these games, and not too many of them hit my radar. I heard specifically Terra Nil did not hit my radar at all. I've heard a little bit about Space for the Unbound, heard a little bit about Chance for Sinar, Chia, and Vinba. Goodbye Volcano High, I of course heard about, but it didn't seem like it impressed too many people. This one's tricky for me. I'm just going to try and go for points here, and I'm going to double dip on Chia, because I think that's the most popular one of the group.
I have no idea what the most popular one is, but the most I saw people talk about was Goodbye Volcano High, so I'm going to go for that one. Ultimately, it's never something that looked good at any point in time I saw it, but I was like, damn, people are always talking about it, so I'm going to go with that one. Like you said, I don't know if it really delivered, but my limited perception allows me to choose that one. But I think that for my vote, I'm going to go with Terra Nil. Also a game that I had not played.
Bitch, motherfucker.
Because ultimately with Terra Nil, it's a game about games for impact. It's about a social meaning or message. I care a lot about the environment, and out of all the ones here, I don't know what exactly they all meant before even you guys talked about your categories. So, as someone who cares about the environment, I'm going to go with Terra Nil, having that pro-environment message.
See, the problem is, Phil, is that he always dips it out right at the end. And it's always it's a 50-50 shot on which vote he dips it out on. Sometimes it's the one he's voting for. Sometimes it's the one he expects to win. But he's just fucking different every goddamn time. And he starts every fucking monologue with, yeah, this one. I'm going to go for this one. And then I write it down. And then he goes, just kidding. I'm voting for a different one. I'm like, motherfucker, speak
I'm
in a
definitely
coherent
right
way.
there with you, and thinking that he was doubling down on Goodbye Volcano High.
It's the
I
third
would
time
never.
he's done it for me. Like, he's just fucked up my notes. I'm trying to keep these notes clean, Connor.
Well, Tavin, I don't see what your notes look like. How can I coordinate? What am I gonna do?
Innovation and
Go in the other
accessibility. Recognizing software and/or hardware that is pushing the medium forward by adding features, technology, and content to help games be played and enjoyed by an even wider audience. We have Diablo 4, Forza Motorsport, Hi-Fi Rush, Marvel's Spider-Man 2, Mortal Kombat 1, and Street Fighter 6. Philip?
Kevin, I have voted for Hi-Fi Rush.
Oh, wow.
However, I believe Street Fighter 6 will win.
Yeah, and I understand expecting Street Fighter 6. For me, I'm tied between Marvel's Spider-Man 2 and Street Fighter 6. And that's tricky for me. I'm gonna vote for Street Fighter 6 because I think just accessibility as a whole, just adding the modern control scheme to Street Fighter 6 does a lot for the game on top of all the other stuff that they do. And yeah, I'm going to expect Spider-Man 2 to take it.
Not mad at it.
Yeah, PlayStation kind of leads the charge in their first party games being super highly accessible, and Spider-Man 2 was no different in that matter. So yeah, I think Spider-Man 2 is gonna do it for here. Connor, where are you at?
So I went ahead and voted for Street Fighter 6. The game I had the most experience with. Actually, that's not true. Hi-Fi Rush I had more experience with, but ultimately, excuse me, Street Fighter 6. I know one of the features allowed blind players to play the game more easily. In addition to the more easier inputs that the game allows you to do with modern controls, it really makes it a lot more easy for people with accessibility issues to be able to play fighting games, which are already a very hard game to play with certain disabilities, especially playing online, which is like more than half of the fun that you get out of Street Fighter 6. So allowing players to do that, I'm going to cast my vote there. But what I think is going to win, just because I've kind of read up the most of it having the best accessibility features, which is Forza Motorsport. Particularly, they did blind driving assist. Once again, helping people who are blind, who are the most impacted, I would say, by playing video games, due to the fact that it's a very visually heavy art form. And so, for that reason, and also just being, I know it has general accessibility features that are also well liked. That I'll just extend it to there for the prediction on my end.
I like it.
I'm into it.
Yeah.
I'm into it. Best performance. Here we go, gentlemen. We're into the final couple here, right here. Ben Starr, Final Fantasy 16. Cameron Monaghan, Star Wars Jedi Survivor. Idris Elba, Cyberpunk 2077, Phantom Liberty. Melanie Liberd, Alan Wake 2. Neil Newbin, Baldur's Gate 3, and Yuri Lowenthal, Marvel's Spider-Man 2. Phil?
Yeah, no surprise here. Double dipping Ben Starr, Final Fantasy 16. Clive Rossfield himself.
Yeah, this is one where I just know I'm going to take an L on this one. I'm going to vote for Melanie Liberd in Alan Wake 2. I think what she did with Saga Anderson was really, really cool. Even though, I criticize her accent a little bit throughout the course of the game. But the acting in itself was really good. I really loved what she did in that game. But yeah, I mean, it's no surprise to anybody that Ben Starr just made a splash this year as a personality, and I think that ultimately in this type of conversation, it's a personality, or it's a popularity contest, and I think Ben Starr has it in that case. Connor?
Well, you could argue that for Idris Elba. Not that I'm voting for him, predicting him, but you could say the same thing about that one. Because I'm fairly in line with you guys. I voted for Ben Starr because I really loved his performance as Clive. Really made that a lot more emotional than... it made it very emotional, which was very important for the story of Clive from beginning to end. And they pulled it off very well to help, capture the narrative that is Final Fantasy 16. But what I think is going to win, is Neil Newbin from Baldur's Gate 3 for his performance as Asterion. who I've seen the most of on social media. He's won at I believe, the Golden Joystick Awards for best performance or something akin to that voting choice. So he's has already some awards under his belt, and that combined with his popularity makes me think he's going to take it. But Ben Starr is just as possible. It's basically a coin toss in my opinion.
I'm not entirely sure, but I think it's Newbon.
Newbon. It makes sense.
I just want to say,
looking for my brother Joshua.
No insult to Neil here. Neil is doing a great job for what he's doing. I fucking hate Asterion. I hate his fucking guts. He's annoying as shit. He's pretentious as fuck. Shut the fuck up, bro. Every single time he opens his mouth, I'm like, just shut the fuck up.
Do you want a spoiler, Tavin?
Shout out to Yuri Lowenthal.
No.
A spoiler you'll never get.
I agree. Shout out to Yuri Lowenthal, man. He did a great job in Spider-Man.
He always does.
He really does. He fucking nails that character. He's my favorite. He's my favorite Spider-Man.
I'm probably right there with you.
Local Spider-Man nerd, everyone.
Best audio design, recognizing the best in-game audio and sound design. Phil?
Tavin, I will be heartbroken if we don't agree here. But my vote cast here is Dead Space from Motive Studio EA. However, I think Hi-Fi Rush deserves the win.
I'm with you in the vote. I'm voting for Dead Space. Dead Space, I think, was actually transformative in its audio design.
Intensity director, baby.
Dude, that shit was next level awesome. However, it's fucking hard, man. I'm gonna go for. I expect Alan Wake 2, man. I do. It's got the. It's got the.
Champion of Light, huh?
It's the most recent thing. People are aware of its audio because of its design. I mean, it's a really good audio design. I'm not going to take it away. But yeah, I think it did enough to where, and it impressed enough, and it's the most recent game of those selected that I think it's going to take it here. Connor, where are you at with this list?
I'm going straight down the middle. Hi-Fi Rush. It's integration of the keys to stay on beat during your walking through the environment. That also includes your footsteps as well. And then integrating that into the combat that then plays, using it kind of as a guide to put you back on track. And also having a nice, pleasant soundtrack throughout that, once again, went along with that beat that you experienced along the game. Which I am disappointed I didn't play Dead Space, because both of you always sing its praises for its audio design, so it must be
real good.
But I did not experience that myself, and Hi-Fi Rush I played all the way through. I absolutely love that game, and so that's going all the way.
Am I the only one here who didn't think Hi-Fi Rush was a great rhythm game? It's a good one, but it's not a great one.
No.
I thought it was fantastic.
I think it's a good one, but it's not like... I feel like the rhythm aspect isn't the main driving part of it. It's to play like those older, more 2000s wacky action-adventure games.
Yeah, that's how I feel, is that it was more charming than it was quality.
Yes.
I just think it did a great job of making me, like, keeping me to the beat, It was very flashy in that it felt very satisfying to pull off these combos to the beat of this awesome song that's playing in the background.
Sure. I'm into that. So Connor, for clarity here, how are you doing this?
Oh, all the way Hi-Fi Rush.
All the way Hi-Fi Rush. Okay.
Oh yeah.
He's not sure anymore. He's got to double check.
I gotta make sure sometimes. Best score and music. Fuck, this one's hard. Alan Wake 2. Go ahead. No? Okay. Alan Wake 2, Baldur's Gate 3, Final Fantasy 16, Hi-Fi Rush, and The Legend of Zelda: Tears of the Kingdom. Phil, where are we going here,
Final Fantasy 16.
Oh, wow.
All the way. That
all the
soundtrack,
way?
Yes.
All the way?
Badass.
Soundtrack.
Badass.
It's so good. It is. Masayoshi Soken is unmatched. Incredible soundtrack.
All right, I guess. Yeah, sure. I mean, Connor always points out that the composer for that was fighting cancer.
I was wrong.
Oh, you were wrong. Never mind.
He was doing that for Final Fantasy 14 though. So it really does still go to show his skill as a composer to be able to do that. And he is in remission, thankfully. So
okay, fantastic.
I did mention that wrong thing before, which doesn't really. Yeah, it is a great soundtrack.
Connor, I feel like you often mention things wrong. Maybe you should fact check your fucking self before you open your.
I just did.
Connor, when he spreads misinformation online.
My bad. Oopsie.
I'm voting for Alan Wake 2 here. I loved the music and the score for Alan Wake 2. Whether it's the instrumental stuff or it's the band stuff, it's just fucking fantastic. It really is all the way through. Especially when I was, cleaning up trophies and replayed, a portion of the game. I was just fucking loving that music, man. And for what I expect to win, I'm tied between that and Hi-Fi Rush. Of course, Hi-Fi Rush had such a focus on music, but it was so long ago. It's so hard to, it's almost an entire calendar year since we all played Hi-Fi Rush. There wasn't a standout song from Hi-Fi Rush. There was good songs in it, and obviously it's a music game, so it's focused on the music. So people are going to focus on it, so it has a great chance of that. But I mean, Phil, was it you that said Champion of Light? Like, how the fuck do you know that you didn't even play it? You know what I'm saying?
I did. I did say Champion of Light. Yeah.
Yeah. So it's just like, that we sing moment and ending every chapter with an original song, and then of course, Connor, you and I know that final in leading up into that third act of the game. Holy shit!
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I've talked myself into it. I'm gonna do Alan Wake 2 all the way.
Damn! You just criticized Phil. Now here you go doing the same thing.
I don't think Final Fantasy 16 has a fucking shot in hell.
Goddamn.
Well,
you're a poopy head.
I think the only one it has a shot over is Zelda.
You're a poopy
Great
head.
soundtrack, but I am not going to be in total agreement with all of you. Because what I think it deserves to win, after much thinking, it's Alan Wake 2. The music in that game, I've begun listening to it again.
See, the problem is he keeps saying this shit like deserves to win, but then he fucking votes for it and expects different shit.
Well, he's gonna vote for it. I just really do
vote for Alan Wake.
Music. Yes, vote for Alan Wake.
Okay.
I love the music in that game. Absolutely phenomenal. Especially I don't know if you just touched on it, but the one that plays after certain Alan Wake chapters, or almost every Alan Wake chapter. Whenever that one hits, especially the first time,
there's one that plays after every chapter.
Yeah, there's different renditions of it though, like slightly, but ultimately,
is it not
I
new
have
songs every time.
For Alan Wake's part, no, like his segment of the game.
Oh, okay.
It's like I think one time it is, but most of the time it's the one. But anyway, even though I'm gonna vote for that, we can go back and check that later, Tavin, if you want.
I think you're speaking out of your ass here, Connor.
No. I've listened to the versions. I had to find them on YouTube. But either way, while I do vote for that, I do think that, and deservedly so, Final Fantasy 16 is going to win. It's such a bombastic soundtrack, especially the main theme.
Good.
Like it's just I'm a big fan of orchestral hits,
It's got one
especially
good
in video
main theme,
games. And one good main theme, a good fight against Titan, consistent good music throughout the entire game, whether you were in your home base or whether you were just going over the overland doing hunts.
Tavin, I just think you need to accept the truth over here, right?
Shut up. Well, you always work it in somehow. What are you doing each time you do this?
Best art direction
Noticed.
for outstanding creative and/or technical achievement in artistic design and animation. Alan Wake 2, Hi-Fi Rush, Lies of P, Super Mario Bros. Wonder, and The Legend of Zelda: Tears of the Kingdom. Phil?
This one's really hard.
This one's so fucking hard.
This one is really, really hard. See, now this is where I think Alan Wake 2 is going to win. But I cast my vote. Drumroll. That's a tongue roll, but I'll take it. I cast my vote for Hi-Fi Rush.
Hey, there we go.
And I think that's really the fight between it. I mean, there's a chance, I guess, for Mario Wonder. I think Zelda, it's more Zelda Breath of the Wild. So, like, are we really voting for that for best art direction, guys? Come on now. Liza P, shout out. Not enough people played. And so I think it just basically comes down to Alan Wake 2 and Hi-Fi Rush.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to vote Alan Wake, expect Hi-Fi. I'm going to do the opposite of Phil here. Crisscross applesauce in here. Because I think Hi-Fi Rush is a pretty game. It's a cool game. It's got a very charming art style, charming characters, and I think that matters here. Connor mentioned how the world reacts to the music and stays on beat with the music. I think that is actually something to kind of give it a bit of a leg up, or at least add another point in the terms of art direction. That's a really smart choice, and that's an art direction choice, in my opinion. it's a game direction choice in totality, but it's a really cool art direction choice as well. Connor, where are you at with this one?
Well, I went ahead and voted, like Phil, with Hi-Fi Rush. I absolutely love the character design specifically. The world, and like you said, the moving parts of it that allow for those beats to take place, and the creative types of enemies you fight. All of it works together very well, especially with its nice, homey cartoon art style. Especially those pre-scripted cutscenes are pretty fantastic. But what I think is going to win, and deservedly so, once again, is Alan Wake 2. That just has so much visually striking moments. Whether it's you fighting the first boss that you take part in the game, whether it's going through between the different play styles, whether you're playing as Saga or whether you're playing as Alan, and how different those things are from a visual perspective, really, it would deserve the win.
There we go. So as long as it doesn't go to Mario, that's a 1 point for all of us there.
Yeah.
Best narrative for outstanding storytelling and narrative development in a game. We have Alan Wake 2, Baldur's Gate 3, Cyberpunk 2077, Phantom Liberty, Final Fantasy 16, and Marvel's Spider-Man 2. I'm going to jump the line here. I'm voting and expecting Alan Wake 2 to win. Alan Wake 2 has a phenomenal narrative. It's absolutely awesome. It only gets better as you get deeper into it. And it has the best ending in video games I've seen in a long, long time. Really impressed with the narrative of Alan Wake 2. How meta it is, how abstract it is, how much it depends on player interpretation, but yet still gives you a fairly satisfying basic narrative in it. That was a super impressive game. How it ties in Control in all of the things happening as they're building out that universe. Yo, they fucking popped off on the narrative of Alan Wake 2, and I expect it to win. I vote for it. I really hope it does take it. Phil, going back in order, where are you at?
Myself, I am once again voting for Final Fantasy 16. Phenomenal narrative. I love the story of Clive Rossfield trying to... I just love the standing up against oppression, breaking the world as it is, making a new one to replace it that's better, to where people don't have to suffer, using this magic, this curse that's been thrust upon the world for this fucked up god that thinks that it owns these people because he made them. I just love that. I love the brother dynamic between him and Joshua. I love the guilt that Clive feels because he goes through the entire story thinking he's murdered his brother, and he didn't even mean to. It was all an accident. Well, no, that's not entirely the case, but he has to bear that guilt throughout, thinking that he caused all this pain and suffering, but in actuality it was this god. And then he meets up with his brother and turns the tide and fucks this quote unquote god up, and it's so satisfying. I shed a tear at the end of the game. Phenomenal game. Loved Final Fantasy 16 to death.
Yeah,
all the way.
Best narratives, a narrative about slavery and oppression, but has no people of color in it. Connor, where are you at?
I will defend that, Tavin, since you seem to have brought it up. They said they didn't want, especially as Japanese creators, want to have a bad impression over in the West. So if anything, they were being conscious of the fact that it would come across as insensitive to some people.
Then people would be like, why are all the people of color the ones in bondage?
I'm just gonna say it's weird. It's weird.
Dude,
that's all I'm gonna say.
I'm not gonna say it's not weird. I'm not gonna say it's not weird.
Well, whatever.
But it's great.
Connor, where you at?
Anyway, it's Tavin. I'm with you. Best narrative, Alan Wake 2, across the board. It's one of those games that it just has the most unique and thought-provoking narrative. Great writing.
It just
great
stays
characters.
in my head,
it just
right?
Does.
Like
yeah,
I
it
beat
really
that
does.
game weeks ago, and I just keep thinking about it.
You put it very well that this is one of those games this year, and it being in the cycle that we're in, we sometimes advocate, okay, move on to the next game, even if you hadn't completed one. You would at least get the idea of where it is on the scale of what you think would be the best. But Alan Wake 2,
Alan Wake beat Alan Wake. Don't stop halfway through.
It's a must play, I think, for anybody. Final Fantasy 16, Phil, thanks for repping it. It deserved it.
No problem. I mean, if anything, if Alan Wake wins, I'm more happy for it. I'm just happen to be ignorant of this story. I just don't know anything about it.
Yeah. I think if any category, Alan Wake has a shot at it. It's this one. Like, Even though I voted for and have doubled down on it in other categories, like this one is the one where I'm like, oh no, not like it should be this one. It may not be. It'll probably be Baldur's Gate or some shit. But that's neither here nor there. I have this written down, right? Connor, you and I both doubling down Alan Wake 2,
Yep.
Phil doubling down Final Fantasy 16.
Yeah,
That's correct.
Excellent. Moving on, our penultimate category here. Best Game Direction. Awarded for outstanding creative vision and innovation in game direction and design. We have Alan Wake 2, Baldur's Gate 3, Marvel Spider-Man 2, Super Mario Bros. Wonder, and The Legend of Zelda Tears of the Kingdom. Phil, where'd you land on this one, man? This is tough.
This is very, very tough. You see. God.
Yeah.
It's very
even
tough.
sitting here looking at it, I don't know. You voted for it. It's like
I
3
did
weeks ago,
vote.
though, so.
No, I did vote. But I mean, I voted Tears of the Kingdom.
Oh boy.
But Baldur's Gate's gonna win.
And here,
That's fair.
to me, this is a 3-horse race between Tears of the Kingdom and Baldur's Gate 3, like you just said, and Alan Wake 2. And the thing about Alan Wake 2 is it's such a artsy fartsy fucking game.
Sam Lake.
And you can name the director. That's the big thing, is you can name the director. And in years past, that means something. Whether it's a Neil Druckmann, whether it's a Miyazaki, whether it's, whoever else you want to put into that category. If you can name the director of the game, if the director has a presence in the media, it kind of goes to them a lot. I'm
Hidemaru Fujibayashi. What do you think about that?
I'm going to split my vote here. I'm going to vote for Baldur's Gate 3. I'm going to expect Alan Wake 2. And the reason I'm doing this is because I don't think Alan Wake 2 has very good gameplay. I've said this in my review. I just have a lot of issues with the gameplay mechanics of that, which was really disappointing off of Control, which Control has phenomenal gameplay. To take a step back so that we could have a phenomenal narrative this time around was disappointing for me personally. And I think that strips them away from having best game direction, in my opinion. Whereas Baldur's Gate 3 offers you so many variables, and the quality is so high for so much content. And not even just in gameplay and narrative, but fidelity, graphics, presentation. The game is just fucking outstanding in all of those. It checks so many boxes that it's just nothing but impressive. So yeah, I'm gonna vote BG3. Expect Alan Wake 2. Connor, where are you at in this category?
Well, Tavin, I am directly in line of your thinking. Baldur's Gate 3 was able to create an experience that no other game has really been able to offer you. One that's all of this being at the same time a multiplayer game. You can do all this with friends, a whole party of them. But it's one where it builds upon itself throughout the entirety of the game, giving you all of those options, both in terms of narrative choice, in terms of individual dialogue bits, class creation, race creation, its impact on the story and how you can interact in certain situations, sometimes being a detriment, sometimes being a positive. And just also continuously getting updates as well. We covered this on the ongoing best community supports. But as far as game direction goes, it's past the point of release. It's as it comes out, and they also fulfilled their role in that. But at the same time, Alan Wake 2, I think, is going to win based off how, once again, that name, you just know it, Sam Lake. And so it really carries it forth a lot. Plus, it's just visually striking. It's narratively striking, which I think on its own, those do very good, and the game direction kind of falters, as you said, with gameplay, but it makes up for that so much more in terms of how the narrative runs and how the level design goes, which can be bad or good sometimes, but you definitely remember it. It's a game direction that really had a vision, and they executed it perfectly. Almost perfectly.
And can I just say, this year was so high quality in terms of game releases that this category, the next category, and the last couple of categories that we talked over, any of them could win, and I would be happy. Like, it really is just like which one made the biggest splash, which one was most impressive to me personally. But yo, in terms of game direction, any of these 5 could win, and I would be super happy and I would be super excited. I'm gonna, clap at the TV when it happens, type thing. So yeah, I'm excited for this award specifically because it's not the most. It's the most like could go to any of them. One like it's not. It's like easily like the least slam dunk one in my opinion. And then here we go. Big one before we get into our announcement predictions, boys. Game of the year. Recognizing a game that delivers the absolute best experience across all creative and technical fields, we have Alan Wake 2, Baldur's Gate 3, Spider-Man 2, Resident Evil 4, Super Mario Bros. Wonder, and The Legend of Zelda Tears of the Kingdom. Phil, what'd you vote? Where do you expect?
I just want to say it's criminal that we don't have Final Fantasy 16 here purely for the instrumental orchestral medley of music that we're gonna get.
when they do the Game Awards presentations with all the melodies together. I agree with
because
that. I do agree.
By no means do I think that game is Game of the Year. So hold your tongue there, Tavin. But
it deserves to be here.
It deserves to be. I want the medley. I want it. Someone make an edit where you add that to the medley after it comes on. I want Flute Guy doing Accept the Truth. I want him doing all that good stuff. I want him doing all that.
Phil, the solution is to get rid of Mario Wonder and replace it with Final Fantasy 16.
No, but Mario Wonder belongs here.
No, Mario Wonder belongs here.
Not over another final game, I think, called Fantasy or something.
It belongs here over Resident Evil 4.
Dude, I don't want to replace any of these games. This is my selection. This is my 6, my personal 6 of games.
No, I think over Resident Evil 4, I'm not like one of those guys who's like, oh, it's a remake, it doesn't deserve. That's bullshit. I don't believe that. I just think that Final Fantasy 16 deserves it more.
Fair.
However, my votes went as such. I voted for Legend of Zelda: Tears of the Kingdom. However, it's clear Baldur's Gate 3 is going to win.
Good one.
The thing is I don't know if it's clear. I said before, I think this is a 3-horse race between Baldur's Gate 3, Legend of Zelda: Tears of the Kingdom, and Spider-Man 2. Of that, I think Spider-Man 2 is running in third. As much as I love it.
Facts.
Listen. I've been on record. I don't like Breath of the Wild. I think it's a good game at best. It's not great. It's not amazing. It's far from a masterpiece. It's got a lot of problems in my opinion. But Tears of the Kingdom did not eliminate any of my problems with Breath of the Wild, but it minimized them so much that I do genuinely think Tears of the Kingdom is a great game. And it's so creative and it's so out of the box and it's so fantastic. In all of the ways that it is fantastic, that it really did impress me this year with how much it captured my attention and how much I still think about it. And I still want to desperately go back to it and finish off that story and just see.
Hey, give me my copy back, bitch.
Some of those narrative choices. No, I'm not done. I'm not done yet, Phil.
Come on, Phil. Don't be heartless.
But
I'm taking it back when I'm there on Thursday.
But no. But
I am.
I will hide it.
I will find it.
I'll have Penny fucking eat it. All right, she'll eat it.
Oh my god!
But
she'll spit it out because it tastes bad.
Yeah, it does taste bad. Baldur's Gate 3, I think, is the most impressive game of the year. I think its impact was phenomenal. That game should not be as successful as it is. Like, it just shouldn't. It's a turn-based, what do they fucking call it? ARPG?
Yeah.
Or CRPG. It's a CRPG, right? I forget. It's a turn-based RPG that's heavy in its fantasy. It's so fucking niche, and the fact that it hits so big in such a great way, and so many people are talking about it. Like, I have conversations with some gamers I know in real life, and all of them, without a doubt, are like, oh no, it's Baldur's Gate 3. Like, these are mainstream-ass people. These are people who don't know what Sea of Stars is. These are people who didn't play Resident Evil 4, who didn't play Alan Wake 2. And to them, it's no question it's Baldur's Gate 3. And I think that deserves the win. Larian Studios just has my support off of that, and they have my vote, and I'm doubling down, and I think it's Baldur's Gate 3 all the way.
Well, in my experience with the games on this list, the only one that I haven't played is Mario Wonder. Legend of Zelda: Tears of the Kingdom. I love it. It deserves the praise it gets. But at the end of the day, it does eliminate the problems that that afflicted it somewhat Breath of the Wild. I'm way more high on it than Tavin is by a long shot. But it at the core of it is that game with these additions to it. Similarly, how the Resident Evil 4 is a remake. Mario is a Mario game, which I have my own thoughts about that. It's not really a negative overall, though. Spider-Man is Spider-Man 2, just more of Spider-Man with the original one with a couple of additions. Alan Wake 2, as good as it is occupies that niche space a little bit more and doesn't have the best gameplay. Baldur's Gate 3, though, I followed that since early access back when it was in 2020, I want to say. And I've now ended up here to. It
was definitely before that.
It was probably before that, but I don't know when I had to get on it right away. But ultimately, Baldur's Gate 3 deserves the win, and it's got my vote. It's going to win. I voted for it, all in, chips on the table, and I'm going to call it right now. This is how I win the point system. This is going to be it. It's going to be straight down the middle. It's going to give me that extra point over one of you.
Will this be Connor's year?
I've won before.
I know. So have I.
Oh.
So have
I.
I.
I've taken a one. Dun, dun, dun.
You haven't won.
Yeah.
It was before you competed, Phil. Fucking.
It was.
Fucking trounced
Last of Us
Connor.
year.
It was like fucking
Last of Us year.
It was like 50-10. Like it was real bad. It was real bad.
Mm-hmm.
Connor just was not paying attention at all that year.
Nope. I won last year.
You did.
You did.
You did win last year.
So there we go, ladies and gentlemen. I'm fucking writing numbers wrong now. We have fuck it. I'm just not gonna write any fucking numbers. We have voted and predicted 25 categories for the Game Awards, and now we get to have a little bit of fun and a little bit of spice. We are going to predict announcements, what will be shown off at the Game Awards, things outside of the nominee categories and so forth. So my phone keeps fucking restarting. I don't know why. We have all written down our predictions. I hope and assume that we've all done our due diligence in that. We will have our main prediction of this will happen, and then we have the opportunity to add some spice to that prediction. Each prediction is worth 3 points. The spice is an extra bonus 2 points if you get that right as well. Phil, you said at the top or right before we started recording that you refused to have me go first, and you know what, buddy? That's fine. I'll back off of that. But fuck you for saying it. So now Connor gets to go first.
That's fine.
Damn. Okay. So let's see. Because I have extras, and now it's all a matter of really choosing them at this point. And I'm going to go with one that I hope I'm not stealing from anyone. I might be, though. And that is to get a Death Stranding 2 trailer. Specifically, I think it's going to be a weird Kojima-esque trailer. I know the mystique around the game since that first very iconic trailer has passed, and now people know more of what it is. But I feel like if you're going to do a reveal trailer like that, it's going to be in Kojima style, and I would hope it would be. But that's going to be a little extra tidbit tagged on there.
What is your tidbit?
Oh, that's going to be like a Kojima-esque. It's not going to be like a traditional trailer. It's going to be. I know. I meant to say. What does that even mean? You know what I mean. Like it's going to be like that
Kojima game edited by Hideo Kojima is going to have Kojima-esqueness to it.
Like I'm talking about like comparing it to that first Death Stranding trailer. That really weird. It didn't really give any information away. It was all very abstract.
You understand? We already have a Death Stranding 2 trailer.
We're going to get a Death Stranding 2 trailer, and it's gonna be crazy.
Maybe they'll tell us who plays Death Stranding.
I'm gonna put it's gonna be crazy.
Yeah,
it's gonna be crazy. It's gonna be wild.
It's gonna be crazy.
Wild stuff.
Fucking most civilian ass fucking prediction I could have ever fucking expected.
Yeah, in a good way, it stole your one of yours, Tavin.
It did. So it stole my first one. I was gonna be safe, and I was gonna say Death Stranding 2 with gameplay. The gameplay was gonna be my spice right there. I'm looking over my predictions right here, and I'm gonna say, yep, I'm gonna do it. Spider-Man 2 DLC / expand alone game announced. That is my prediction. A Spider-Man 2 either DLC or one of their like Miles Morales styled games is going to be announced. But my little bit of spice, add a little bit of spice of it. New Game Plus out now.
Hinging on that ongoing stuff, huh?
I like it. For my first prediction, I'm also going to be somewhat safe. I'm gonna say Wolverine trailer.
Damn,
Fucking
off the
safe,
dude. I was almost gonna do that, and then I realized they just did Spider-Man 2, so no way.
No, but like it's like, hey, we have our nominee. We have our nominee for Game of the Year. All these different categories. We have Marvel Spider-Man 2 by Insomniac. Here's another little peek into the universe that Insomniac is building, and we have Wolverine, and a little bit of spice is we find out who's voicing Wolverine.
That'd be a big reveal, I would think.
How does that work? I'm gonna ask.
So people recognize who he is.
Like they're gonna announce it on stage, or it's just a thing that happens in a press release later? Because I think those two things are important.
For my little bit of spice, it'd be so cool. I'm gonna say it just because it'll be so cool. He walks out on stage.
Ooh, walks out. So you think it's gonna be somebody who we fucking care about?
I think it'd be cool. It'd be really cool.
All right, that's the spice. That's the spice. Connor, we're back to you. Prediction number 2. What do you got for us, buddy?
So I think it might be time to see something, and I think it's going to be a reveal trailer for the new Santa Monica game, particularly also giving you possibly a release window, a year particularly. You know, I don't think they want to. If they did show something, they wouldn't dedicate to a specific release date or, you know, at least even span of time. So like a specific span of time, like a Q4 or whatever. So I think just year. That's all we get.
Your spice is that we get a year?
Yeah, like a release date year. Yeah.
I was gonna say I mean if it does happen, I don't even think we're getting like winter whatever the year is. It would just be the year.
Yes. Yeah. See, that's no idea.
I would be fucking balls to the wall shocked if that fucking happened. That's fucking crazy. Like, both of you have said things that I'm like, not a fucking chance. Not a fucking chance. But here I go with my second fucking prediction here.
Go ahead.
Sega has announced that they are at the Game Awards in a big way this year. They've sent out letters. They said, hey, pay attention to the Game Awards, man. Something new era, energy, something. I forget the exact wording for it. I think it's time, man. I think we've dried out the well for the previous game. And so I think it's time. Persona 6 announcement.
Damn.
Okay. I think it's happening. I think we're getting something really cool. For my spice, I'm gonna say we get a look at the new main character.
Tavin, that is.
Are we talking?
I think for the most part, they're gonna be voiceovers. There's gonna be some cool artistry stuff. There's gonna be some shadows running around, and then it's just gonna say Persona 6. I think that's what's probably going to happen. But if they're really, really bold about it, and if it's closer to release than we expect, which I have a slight feeling that it might be closer than we expect, then they're gonna show off the character in the trailer, like probably just a still shot of, and that's the one that the media is gonna run with and so forth.
Yeah, I was just gonna ask, when you say they show off the character, are we gonna see just a silhouette, or are we gonna actually like see the character's design?
Design. I think silhouette is a cheat. It doesn't make sense. I think we're gonna see design. Are we gonna see the full design? I don't know. It might be like, hey man, this is a dude in a trench coat and he's looking over his shoulder and we get a profile of his face. I think that counts, but it's not gonna be a blacked out. We have no idea what he even or he or she even looks
or
like.
she, yeah. Or maybe you get to choose the gender of your protagonist.
Wouldn't that be fucking crazy?
Yeah, right.
If a fucking Atlas game had any type of role playing in their role playing games, you know?
Yeah,
Phil,
right.
Where are you at, or what is your second prediction, sir?
All right, this is where I'm getting more wacky, if you can believe it.
Whoa, slow down.
More Pokemon remakes.
Oh my fucking god!
Any in particular?
I feel like it's cheap to say more than one gen. I was gonna say Johto or Unova, which is Gen 4 and Gen 2. Gen 5 and Gen 2. I think
I have you down for a Pokemon remake. What do you want to make your spice be?
Considering there are 9 generations of Pokemon, can I say it's either Gen 2 or Gen 5?
I think you should fucking make a fucking decision.
Gen 2 or Gen 5?
Coward.
Well.
And then
Tavin, I'm going to add this on. I'm going to add this on right now. If it's another Gen 1 remake, take away a point for me.
I'm going to write that down. Okay.
Damn.
Gen 1 -1.
Gambling man.
There we go. Connor, for your final prediction, sir, where are you going with this one?
Well, something occurred recently, and that was I was threatened. I was threatened.
Okay.
And regardless of what threat I get, I stand by what I believe. And I will not be cowed. I will not be cowed. I will not be beaten down into submission. And that is why, Tavin, come kick my ass because it's avowed. A release date, trailer, specific time. You said you're going to come slap me? Come on in. Come on in. There you go. See, look, here's he coming. Here's he coming.
And now, for the audio listeners, Tavin is going to Connor's room. Connor has stood up out of his chair. And he is awaiting the entrance to the door. And Connor's now gone off screen. He said, "I know what he's doing." Well, what's happening? Oh shit! They pulled out lightsabers. Oh, they're having a duel.
You gonna turn it on? What?
Oh my god! It's 2 Sith warriors. Oh, Tavin just got his ass kicked. Tavin got his ass kicked. Oh my god! Tavin got destroyed in that duel. Darth Connor has proven himself victorious.
Nope, but I won. You saw it, right?
Don't worry. No, don't worry. I let the audio listeners know that you beat Tavin's ass in that duel.
Oh, fucking crush the shit out of me there.
You annihilated Tavin. I pretty much narrated that entire. I was shoutcasting that entire duel, that entire thing as it happened. As soon as pretty much as soon as Connor got out of his chair. So
Connor, what was your prediction?
No, avowed release date, avowed gameplay trailer, release date, like specific.
Is the full?
Yep, it's that the spices that they're going to give you an exact release date, year, month, day. Maybe it won't be set in stone.
So
but
your regular prediction is?
It's just avowed gameplay trailer.
Okay, awesome. You know we have a gameplay trailer already, right?
Like an actual, the one to actually hype up the release date. It's really they go hand in hand, but they wouldn't just do a gameplay trailer because we have gotten one.
All right. Well, I'm left with my 2 most tame predictions. And now it's just which one do I want?
Tame, huh? It could be tame from Tavin's perspective.
I'm gonna go the boring one of the 2. Senua Saga trailer with release date. That's my prediction.
I like it. That is boring, but yeah, it'll happen.
So we keep seeing it at the goddamn Game Awards, and it just makes sense to just fucking cap it off with that with a release date. We are past time for that.
Wouldn't it be funny if it's like for real this time?
Well, I mean, they haven't given us a date yet.
They've given us years
for a little bit of spice. April.
Damn.
Okay. They've given us years before, Tavin. So I was saying like 2024 for real this time.
So yeah, that is my final prediction. Phil, let's bounce it off to you, brother. Where you at?
I'm glad nobody was an asshole and was like, "Oh, Dragon Age Dreadwolf." Because
Dragon Age Dreadwolf is your next fucking prediction.
No, because that literally just came out. That like, there's like a whole thing they're working on it. Well, not that they're working on. Obviously, it's been in wherever.
They just keep working on it.
It's been in limbo for who knows how long. But my actual last thing, and this is a fucking Hail Mary right here. Okay. They announce Final Fantasy IX remake.
Damn.
Not a fucking shot in the
No,
fucking
damn.
world.
They just that they're working on it. Not that it's coming out anytime soon.
Do you have any spice for that?
No.
Okay,
Zero.
great. I wouldn't either.
Damn, that's respectable.
That's
Respectable.
a Hail Mary. Wow, there we go.
A
Ladies
wrong
and
one
gentlemen,
too.
so that puts us out. Connor's 3 predictions are his first one, a Death Stranding 2 trailer with the spice of it's gonna be crazy. Okay.
I could change
Heaven's
that. If it's
Do you
offered.
want to?
Sure, I will. I'll change it to something. I think we're gonna get a character reveal of a big name actor.
Listen,
Better.
Okay, there we go.
Yeah, a little bit better.
That's way better.
Yeah, I thought so. I thought about an
actor
actor. Like,
reveal.
damn, I should have gotten that.
No, you should be like Jeff Keighley's going to be like, and I'm in the game even more this time.
Oh my, that'd be pretty funny though. That's not out of the realm of
Jeff
possibility.
Keighley absolutely making a return to Death Stranding too, but probably
Yeah.
going to be the same level of size of character. Connor's second prediction was a new Santa Monica game will be announced. The spice is that we'll get a year attached to it.
Yep.
And then finally, avowed gameplay trailer with a release date. Specific release date, right?
Specific, yes.
Specific. We're getting a day.
There
we go.
The bell will toll.
So if it says fall 2024, it doesn't count.
Does not.
Heard. We put it to the good word. Phil's 3 predictions were a Wolverine trailer with the spice of the voice actor walks out on stage. We'll find out. A new Pokemon remake, Gen 2 or Gen 5. If it's Gen 1, minus 1 point. And a Final Fantasy IX remake, no spice added to that one. I predicted Spider-Man 2 DLC / expand alone announced. New game, and the spice is New Game Plus out now. Persona 6 announced with a spice of look at the new protagonist. And Senua Saga trailer with release date spice. It's in April. There we go. Ladies and gentlemen, that has been your 2 Penny Games prediction for the 2023 Video Game Awards. I'm very, very excited to see it. It's coming up this Thursday, so we got just a few more days for it. And then very excited to talk about all the winners next week with Connor on your weekly episode of the the 2 Penny Gamescast. Excuse me. Remember, you can get this podcast every Tuesday, 8 a.m. Central Time, youtube.com/@2pennygames, and mainstream podcast services of your choice. Subscribe, follow, like, share. All of the socials are down there in the bottom. Make sure you stick around next week for the piggy bank and for the results of our little competition here. And also go check out our Grand Theft Auto 6 trailer reaction video. We really do appreciate all of that. Until next time, have a great time. And Connor, say goodbye to the people.
Goodbye.
God, Connor went from making up his own sign language to doing like the signal checks in an airplane cockpit.
I hate this motherfucker, man, so goddamn much, man. He's such a piece of shit.